Good greetings to you all. Hope you are doing well. Today I am here with the A.G. Gardner's on the rule of the road. A.G. Gardner, his full name is Alfred George Gardner. He was an English journalist, editor and an author who born in Chelmsford on 2nd June 1865 and died on 3rd March 1946. He was the son of Henry James Gardner, who was a cabinet maker and alcoholic, and his wife Susanna Taylor. Father was Henry James Gardner and mother was Susanna Taylor. And as a boy, Gardner worked at the Chelmsford Chronicle and the Bournemouth Directory. He joined the Northern Daily Telegraph in 1887, which had been founded the year before by Thomas Purvis Ritsema. In 1899, he was appointed as the editor of the Blackburn Weekly Telegraph. So his essays written under the alia Alpha of the Plough are highly regarded. So here Trumpet Club points out what constitutes the real liberty. In Trumpet Club, he discusses the constituents of a true liberty. What is a true liberty? So, as I said, Alfred George Gardner is one of the most charming contemporary essays, and his selection of subjects as well as his treatment of subjects can explain the reason for his popularity and fame. The style and language of the Gardner's writing is beautiful. Its keynote is its simplicity. So he is very famous for the simple language that he uses in his essays. Moreover, the economy of words and ideas make his essays really a pleasurable experience to the readers. His use of anecdotes and illustrations, that is the another speciality of Gardner, make his essays very clear, crystal clear, and the elucidation very simple. So the essay starts by giving an example of an old lady who insisted on walking in the middle of the road in Petrograd instead of on the pavement. So what is her argument? Her argument was that she had got the liberty now to do so. What is it? The lady claims that she got the liberty to walk in the middle of the road instead of on the pavement. So she did not realize that, like her, the cab driver was also entitled to drive on the pavement. If such a thing happened, there would be traffic jams and chaos everywhere, and nobody would be able to reach his or her destination in time. So thereby, Gardner is telling us about the inevitability and necessity of following the rules on the road. So such an individual liberty as here mentioned by the old lady would result in complete anarchy in the society. If everybody start to say that they have got the liberty to walk on the middle of the road, there would be complete chaos and confusion. So the author thinks that these days people are increasingly getting liberty to drunk, which is very dangerous. Therefore we must understand the rule of the road. If everybody is always bothered and worried and concerned about their individual right on the road, there will be utter confusion among the other people. It means that in order to preserve the liberty of all, the liberties of everyone must be curtailed, which means we should be ready to sacrifice some of our personal liberty and freedom for the sake of the whole world. So as everybody, if we curtail, if we are ready to curtail our individual liberty, the whole society can enjoy their liberty. So we should be able to do some kind of compromise when we are there in the road or in the public road. See, the traffic policeman should be taken as a symbol of liberty, he says, and not of anarchy when he is controlling the traffic. So he is doing a great job by controlling the traffic in the hot sun. So some curtailment of private liberty is necessary so that everyone may enjoy a social order that makes liberty a reality. What does he mean? The curtailment of the shortening or compromising. If we are ready to compromise with our personal liberty, only we will be able to make others enjoy the social order. So because liberty is not only a personal affair but also a social contract. So if a person's liberty does not affect others' liberty, then he can sow as he likes. What does he mean? If a person, when you are there in the street or when you are in public, when you are in a public place, you have to mind the society, you have to mind the other people's liberty. So if you are all alone there, if your liberty or if the enjoyment of your personal liberty is not affecting others social life, it's okay. Otherwise you have to be ready to do with some kind of compromise. For example, he may wear the type of clothes which he likes, wear shoes or walk bare feet, support long or short hair. He can follow his fancy and by going to bed late or getting up early. So these are the personal liberty that we can enjoy by ourselves, because this doesn't hurt others or this doesn't affect others' liberty. So for all these, one need not ask anybody's permission at all, unless it affects others. We have the complete liberty to enjoy it. But the moment his personal liberty begins to affect others, then it must be restricted. That is what the ISA says. So he may play his musical instrument as loudly as he wants if it does not disturb the neighbors. Everybody has got his own liberty to play his musical instruments unless it disturbs others. So when you play your musical instrument, you have to make sure that it doesn't distract others from their work. So but he should ensure that his actions do not encroach upon the liberty of other people. That is what the author meant. So when the policeman put his hand at the Piccadilly Circus Street, we must not think that our liberty has been violated. If we are a responsible or a reasonable person, we will reflect that he didn't interfere, and hence the result would be that we would never cross the Piccadilly Circus Street at all. That is how we have to take things. So we have submitted to a curtailment of private liberty in order that we may enjoy a social order which makes our liberty a reality. Then the author points out that liberty is not a personal affair. It's a social contract. It is an adjustment of interests. The author gives another example of a person who entered a railway carriage, and uh, he disturbed others with his loud talking when he was trying to read a blue book. The man talked commonplace things with his friend in a loud and pompous voice and forced the author to stop reading. So there are people like that. They don't mind about others' freedom and others' rights. They will be simply enjoying their own. So when you are in a public place, it is your pretty business that you should mind the others' freedom. So the author did not object, lest he should be considered a very rude fellow. He feels that a reasonable consideration for the rights and feelings of others is the foundation of social behavior. It's a very important point. A reasonable consideration of, we should be a reasonable and responsible person when we are in a public, when we are in public. And he is of the view women are less civilized in this respect with men. The reason is that men are better trained than women in give and take social relationship, because they have lived more in broad current of the world. So they have learned from their school life, their club life and games, but not women are beginning to enjoy these things. So the writer believes that the rights of small people and quiet people are also important to preserve. The motorists have no right to disturb others by blowing their horns deliberately and noisily. Similarly, one should listen to his gramophone inside his house, maintaining privacy and not disturbing his neighbors. The fact is that we can be neither complete anarchists nor complete socialists in this complex world of ours. We must be a reasonable mixture of both. We must preserve our own liberty and our social liberty as well. This can be done by observing the rule of the road. In life, great moments of heroism and sacrifice are rare. So, only the little habits of social behavior can sweeten or make our life better. The idea of personal liberty as a social contract by Gardner reflects the idea of social contract by the philosopher John Locke. Locke is one of the thinkers closest to the social contract idea. This idea says we are giving up some of our smaller freedoms so we can live in a society together. In return for doing so, our truly important rights are protected by society also. So by this, Gardner is trying to make one of the most major point in this essay. That's all about the essay. I hope you have understood.